believe I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range, cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They'll deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. You got a mind, but even that could change. You could flip the gray matter like some batter in your brain. That's why I say, fake it till you make it A. And if you play that game, then you just might make a change. Rearrange all the bad to okay. Take the worst thoughts saying, turn them to a game. Take the best thoughts saying, put them on display. On repeat in your brain till you're feeling no more pain. Never slow yourself down, you can do some more. Push past all the pain and you'll find a door. Open it up and finally explore everything that you thought you could never do before. And even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when
And that was SummerSlam. We are down. We are down, but not as down as Jey Uso is right now. As you can tell, this is not my regular setup. Guys, welcome to the post SummerSlam show. I am currently in a hotel in an undisclosed location on the West Coast. A lot of stuff went wrong last minute, but I am here delivering all the SummerSlam know-how. If you have a question, leave it in the chat. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. If you guys can hear me, hopefully you guys can hear me. Let me know in the chat. If not, if the sound is pretty bad, if I sound weird, I had no idea how to... I did not have time to really fix the pitch or anything like that, so we're just kind of doing this, and I hope it's going to be fun. I hope we can talk about what a pay-per-view we had. Multiple title changes of the same belt, and an ending that I don't think, I can guarantee, in fact, nobody saw coming. If you haven't already done so, I'm MQ for Real Take Wrestling. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Okay, so Wild Night, that's bare minimum we could say about tonight. It was a wild night. And the one thing you can always guarantee from these big WWE shows is that they're always going to put on like an amazing performance. It's always going to be top-notch. Wrestling is always going to be top-notch, spectacle. Like, they are the best when it comes to doing spectacle by far. And to me, I thought that this was, it obviously was not WrestleMania. WrestleMania was like the best thing that they put on the entire year. That being said, though, this was fun. I think a lot of it was fun. There were some parts, obviously, I'm looking at you, Battle Royal and Ronda Rousey versus Shayna Basler, that wasn't that great. But overall, I think we can say that this was one of WWE's, this was one of their, okay pay-per-views. Like this was a good pay-per-view, I should say. Like, overall, it was built on the main event matches more so than anything. It was built on the bloodline more than anything. Much of the last year basically of WWE TV it's been built on the bloodline, and everyone wanted to see what would happen with Jey Uso. Everyone wanted to see what would happen. Would he finally finish the story? Would he finally finish this story, the story of the bloodline? Did not happen. Likely won't happen the way that we think about it, but some interesting stuff did happen, and we'll talk about that. Let's actually just start off by running through the card. Like, I gave my overall thoughts. Let's run through this card, run through some of these matches, and just talk about them. If you have a question, of course, leave it in the chat. We'll get to it. First match, Ricochet versus good old professional wrestler, future Hall of Famer, Logan Paul. All right. So this feud was predicated on the idea that Logan Paul and Ricochet botched a move at Money in the Bank. So, like, the Spanish Fly spot through the table was botched, and then Logan Paul was like, yeah, Ricochet, he really messed that up for me. Like, putting all the blame on the 15-year veteran rather than, taking the blame himself. And, of course, this rubbed Ricochet the wrong way. At some point, Samantha Irvin got involved, who is a ring announcer, who is also Ricochet's fiance. It's weird when they do that kind of stuff, in my opinion, because it really makes you be like, is this necessary? But I think more so than anything, like, the way they did it, it kind of added to the feud because, like Logan Paul's whole thing was like, at the end of the match, I'm gonna make your fiance say my name, which disrespectful as fuck. Like, let's be honest, but I think it fits the character they're going for with this dude. So Logan Paul wins via shenanigans in this match. There were a few good spots in this match. I thought my favorite one was when they did the Spanish Fly. They did a standing Spanish Fly on the outside on the mats, and I thought it was a really, really brutal spot. Like, both Paul and Ricochet's face just, like, collided with the mat, and I was like, oh, I ain't taking that bump. You know who's not taking that bump? Kane. Kane ain't taking that bump because Kane don't take no bumps that aren't on his knees. So, but, I mean, like, overall, I thought this match was way better than I thought it would be, and it was a fun opener. Like, I understand why this went on first, because this was one of those high-octane, let's shoot for the moon here and try to do everything we can fit into one match. And, of course, Logan Paul ended up picking up the victory via shenanigans, like I said, and the shenanigans were he was handed some brass knucks, basically. Dude was handed brass knucks by someone on the outside, and for someone who says he has, like, titanium or whatever in his hands already, like, it makes you wonder, why does he need brass knucks? ? I don't know. Anyway, so he hits Ricochet with the brass knucks, knocks him out cold, 1, 2, 3, and then Samantha Irvin said, your winner is Logan Paul, which Logan Paul just geeked out on. He absolutely geeked out for that. He loved that. And again, it fits the character. Fun opener. It wasn't like the barn burner that, like, you would expect from, like, some of these big openers, but it was fun. It was fun, and it just shows you, again, like, the value of, like, someone like Logan Paul in WWE, because not only can he talk the talk, this dude can walk the walk. He's a good to great pro wrestler. It's just the truth at this point. No matter how much I personally don't like, he's not my cup of tea, no matter how much y'all might not like him, the truth is he's really good at this wrestling thing. This dude has gone out there, had matches with Roman Reigns in main events of 60,000 plus stadium shows. He's gone out there at WrestleMania multiple times and had great matches. Like, he's great. It's just the truth. Moving on, it's not great. It's not great. This feud. So for the past, like, 3 months, we've had the dishonor, I should say. We've had the dishonor of dealing with whatever this feud has been between Brock and Cody. And tonight was the big end-all, be-all. This was it. This was the final encounter between these two. And honestly, like, I had very little expectations going into it. I thought that, like, it's great that they're ending this feud because, oh my God, this thing has just gone on for way too long. I just want it to be over. I want Cody to be doing something else. That's it. I just want Cody to be doing something else. I don't care whether it's going after Rollins. I don't care whether it's, feuding with Bray Wyatt. Just anything other than this, because from the beginning, this feud made no sense. I still do not know why Lesnar attacked Cody after Mania. Cody doesn't even know that. He's just like, I'm fighting him because he just won't stop attacking me. So, like, it's wild. I don't get it. But they had a match, and honestly a good one. Like, this was a very good match. I thought that they played to the strengths of Cody, they played to the strengths of Brock, and this was the best match that they've had. Like, of the, what, now 3 that they have had in total, this was by far the best. It doesn't make up in any way for the fact that we still don't know why Brock Lesnar attacked him and why Brock Lesnar, like, did all that stuff, but it was still a very fun match to watch. Cody won by hitting the crossroads on Lesnar. And after the match, this was an interesting scene. Cody almost got like an endorsement from Brock, which I thought was cool, right? Doesn't make up for the shitty storytelling at all. Does not. I want to be clear. But I thought this was cool because while none of this makes sense, because Brock apparently had like a death wish out for Cody, dude comes out like and raises his arm afterwards. In what, for whatever reason, I don't know. In my mind, I thought it was a cool moment because you got, like, Cody being endorsed by Brock Lesnar, which Brock has, like, weirdly endorsed people before. Like, he's done it by selling for them at post-match. He did it for AJ Styles. He did it for Finn Balor. He's done it for Bryan Danielson. But he's never, like, gone that extra mile and after a match, like, you know, like, shaking hands and raised someone's hand. If that's not a rousing endorsement for the future of Cody in WWE, I don't know what is. Because that means that he's the guy. Like he is the guy that they're building all of this around, and he's most likely going to be the guy to beat Roman. While I don't necessarily agree with that right now, and given the story with the bloodline, that's my own view of the way things have gone, I see why you'd want to do that. Cody is the most marketable guy in WWE. Traditionally, at least, he's the most marketable guy. And it makes sense. Like, he can do all the media stuff. He's great in the ring. He's over like Rover, and he sells a bunch of merch. That is taking every single box you have for your big box office attraction. He's the guy. I get it. And while I don't necessarily think he should be the one to beat Roman, it's not a bad decision, if that makes sense. Like because I think people, sometimes when people have takes about wrestling or opinions about wrestling, right, they're taken as like black and white. They're taken as binary. It's either this or nothing. It's either all or nothing. And that's not the way I view this at all. Like, for me, like, I did a video on this. You guys can go check it out in the archives. It's now outdated because Jay lost, but I made the case for Jey Uso being the one to beat Roman Reigns for the title, because I believe, and I still do believe, that the story of the bloodline means more than anything they could have done, you know, following that. Anything they could have built Cody up to be or anything. It means way more because it's like the greatest story they've ever told. Now, just because I think that doesn't mean I don't think it's a good idea to have Cody win. Doesn't mean that I wouldn't cheer. Doesn't mean that I won't like it when he does. Because the stories can take different routes, and you can like certain ways better. Like, I can like the direction of certain episodes of Game of Thrones more than I liked others. But outside of season 8, I basically like the entire thing. So, you know, like it's just one of those things where it's like preference, and you don't want to get perfection get in the way of like what's good, right? So like that's the way I kind of view it. Just putting that out there. Anyway, long story short, they put Cody over, as they should. Dude is just absolutely on fire now. Like, you could make the argument that he should probably be the one to beat Roman like before Mania, but I think the prevailing sentiment in creative is probably that it's going to be Cody, Roman, Mania 40, Night 2, main event, and he's going to win. And I think like some of the stuff that happened tonight kind of cemented that. By the way, guys, if you're just joining us, welcome to the show. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell. If you have a question in the chat, put it in the chat. And let me know what you guys thought about the show. There was a lot that went on. By the way, I again want to make it clear, this is not the normal setup. I am traveling, and I ran into some Wi-Fi issues in my hotel room, so I'm now in the lobby being a super mark with everyone watching on, like, in the darkness, because, well, you know, this isn't even the lobby. It's like the mezzanine level, because I ain't going down to the lobby and doing this. It's way too loud. So anyway, me being the supermarket that I am, I implore you, please help me out. Help my self-esteem right in this moment. Hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Put your questions in the chat. Let's have fun tonight. Um, so Cody beat Brock. Fun match. Again, the best match by far in this entire storyline. I'm so glad it's over. Speaking of glad it's over. Oof. Okay. Let's talk about it. Ronda Rousey, Shayna Basler, MMA rules match. And I feel like this is a weird thing because I feel like WWE, now that the merger with UFC is like a thing that's going to happen soon, I feel like they're going to do stuff like this more, where they do MMA rules matches and maybe have some crossover. Like, it would be cool if you saw like people like Jorge Masvidal or, you know, or like others like that. Like, we've seen him do stuff in AEW, but it'd be cool if you saw like Kamaru Usman or other people like make these one-off appearances, maybe get involved in the match or two in WWE. I don't think it's likely that you'll see that at least immediately, but I think that, you know, there's definitely more room for experimenting with stuff like this, and I think this was part of the experiment. They wanted to see how this match would go over. They wanted to see how they maybe test out ways to structure this type of match. And overall, yeah, this wasn't that great, was it? This really wasn't that great. I don't know. I know that I want to say this. I respect the hell out of Ronda Rousey as a wrestler, as an MMA fighter. I respect the hell out of Shayna Baszler as a wrestler, as an MMA fighter. What I saw tonight, it wasn't wrestling. It wasn't MMA. It just wasn't great. And I think that kind of putting them in the position to try to do a worked MMA match is, one, a dubious proposition to begin with. But on top of that, like, it kind of eats away at the credibility of them as MMA fighters. Like, that's just my opinion. I think you're much better off just having them wrestle like a match. Have it in a cage. Maybe do it like do it in a much. If you're going to like even present like an MMA rules match, do what Riddle and Rollins did at Extreme Rules last year. Put that cage around them and have them go at it. Like make it a little bit more gimmicky. Make it a little bit more professional wrestling-y. I think they tried to make it way too like MMA, if that makes sense, and it just failed. And at least that's the way I saw it. Yeah, I just wasn't a fan of this. Like, these are two women who are great wrestlers. These are two women who are great MMA fighters. I don't think anyone has ever and will ever like be good at that cross section of worked MMA. So like, let's not do it. Like, it definitely didn't work when Jake Hager did it. Definitely didn't work when he did it with Wardlow. Like, let's not do it here. Let's not waste people's time. Let's not waste money. Let's not waste the presentation of two of your biggest stars, especially in what could be Ronda Rousey's last match. We all know, like, that's the big story, that she's probably done after SummerSlam. We all like have heard the rumors. They've been swirling. I've done videos about it. And the way I see it is, if you're going to have a last match for her, don't make it an MMA rules match where, like, her entire credibility gets shot. Like, if you have any chance of her now going to the UFC, I mean, I'm not going to say that because she's probably going to, she could do UFC like 300 and it could draw like 1 million buys and she'd still be a draw. But y'all know what I'm saying. It's just weird, and it eats away at the credibility of her as a fighter. It eats away at the credibility of what I'm seeing too. Because I don't want to. I don't know about y'all. I like the style mixing a little bit. Like when former MMA fighters do like the MMA like kind of hybrid stuff within the bounds of a wrestling match, I think it's fine. When you have an MMA rules match in a worked environment like wrestling, I just don't think it's going to work. And, like, I know there was a big pop at the end when Shayna Baszler had Ronda Rousey in the headlock and Ronda Rousey passed out. And, well, by the way, that's what happened. I know that there was a big pop there, but I think it was more so just because people were kind of happy that the match was over rather than they were happy at the result or whatever. Like, again, this is one of those things where I feel like You could have gotten way more out of this had you made it like a no holds barred match. Had you made it a Hell in a Cell match. Had you made it something a little more traditional. And I'm all for trying new stuff when it comes to wrestling. I'm all for trying new stuff when it comes to entertainment. I just don't think this works. I just don't think it will work. And I'm sure there are people out there who enjoyed it, and if you did, that's great. That's the best part about this sports entertainment, wrestling, whatever you want to call it. The best part about this is anyone can enjoy anything, and it's fine because it's all about like the type of entertainment you enjoy. So watch what you want to watch, do what you want to do. As long as it doesn't hurt nobody, I'm all for it. Moving on. Speaking of hurting, oh god, this match hurt to watch. In a good way, though. In a good way, because they absolutely beat the crap out of each other. Gunther versus Drew McIntyre. I will be very transparent here. I did watch most of this match. Some of it I did miss because I was in transit, but yeah, Gunther beat the crap out of Drew McIntyre, and Drew McIntyre beat the crap out of Gunther. It's exactly what you expected. This is exactly what you expected out of these two. Was it as good as like the Triple Threat at Mania? Obviously not. That was like a 5-star classic like match. But this is what you want out of a Drew McIntyre versus Gunther match. This is exactly what you expect. And from the power bombs, the chops, everything, I thought McIntyre to this point, outside of Sheamus at Clash in the Castle, looked like the biggest threat to his title, to Gunther's title, throughout this entire reign. And that's a big deal because like Gunther is coming up on the record for the Intercontinental Championship. I think the record for the Honky Tonk Man was like 454 days, if I'm not mistaken, or 484 days, one of those two. Anyway, so Gunther is coming up on Honky Tonk's record, and it's honestly such a blessing because there's no way in hell that the Honky Tonk Man should have the record for the longest Intercontinental title reign. It just shows you how far that title has come in the past 30 years since the Honky Tonk Man held it, because back then it was seen as kind of like a secondary thing that was just a sideshow of everything else that was going on, and now it has that reputation. It's the workman's title. It's the workhorse title. It's you have someone like Gunther who is just one of the biggest, baddest ass kickers in the entire world when it comes to this. And it is just, it's great to see this resurgence, the fact that like he's even presenting this as the main title on the show. Like to him, there's nothing else that matters more than this title. That is cool. That is great to see. And I think there needs to be more of that when it comes to these types of belts. I think that when you have people kind of acknowledging that this is just a trinket, this is just another belt that's out there, or when you have commentators kind of shitting on it, it eats away at, and it degrades the level of seriousness you as a fan approach the title picture with, because let's be honest, with Austin Theory and the U.S. title belt, ain't nobody viewing that as anything but a secondary belt. With Gunther, it's still like, it's not as high, obviously, on the card as Universal Championship that Roman Reigns holds, but I think you could legitimately make a case for that belt, like the Intercontinental belt and the World Heavyweight title that Rollins holds right now, being on the same level. And if someone were to say that Gunther's title right now means more than Rollins' title, I'd have a hard time disagreeing with you and have a hard time telling you that that's not the case, because he's gone out there for the past year plus. He's worked his ass off. He's beaten everyone that's been put in front of him, and he's had some of the best matches in the entire company. Which at this point, given how much WWE's leaned into storytelling, given how much WWE's leaned into, the other aspects of this, and tried to let's be honest, like most of the segments that end these pay-per-views now are bloodline segments that aren't even like matches. They're literally just elongated segments. So great to see like Gunther still being involved in these big moments and big matches, like and wrestling. Like worst case, when you see Gunther on your screen, you know you're gonna get a damn good wrestling match. Oh man. So that was great. For me, this was match of the night. We got Jermaine in the chat. Welcome, Jermaine, saying, in my opinion, Pete Dunne should dethrone Gunther. Ooh. Yo, okay, so here's the thing. Like, my introduction to Walter / Gunther was that match he had with Pete Dunne at NXT Takeover New York at WrestleMania weekend in 2019. And like, because I had heard about Walter before, and I had like seen like the video packages and all that stuff, but I hadn't really like seen his work. Like I wasn't familiar. I remember watching that match, Pete Dunne versus Walter Takeover 2019, and I was just in awe of what I was seeing, because not only did you have this like big behemoth who wasn't like traditionally like built big like a wrestler, but like he looked like an old school badass wrestler who would legitimately beat the crap out of you. You had some of the most insane spots. I still can't believe that Walter like chopped Pete Dunne down from the top rope to the outside. Like, that is still one of the craziest things I've seen. I love that match. It is one of my favorite matches ever, and I think that Pete Dunne dethroning Walter would be a great idea. And you could call back to the fact that Walter beat him in that match, and kind of kicked off this whole craze around Walter in North America, or Gunther, whatever you want to call him. So I would love that. I think that's a great way to go. It would definitely, they would have to like present Pete Dunne a little bit better than they have, but man. We got no Lara in the chat saying congrats to EO. Officially, does officially congrats to EO. Hopefully who doesn't destroy it. If you're talking about Lord Moldy Butt, aka Vince McMahon, he's on sabbatical. He's getting raided by the police and and the authorities and the feds, so I don't know. I don't see him coming back anytime soon. Although I did say that 1 year ago, and look at where we are. Anyway, but yeah, Pete Dunne's a good shout. I also think that like maybe Sheamus eventually beating him could be an interesting story, just because they've basically been doing battle for the past like year plus, and they've had again some of the best matches. I would like to see Sheamus also get a dub, but there's a few people. As long as it's not Austin Theory. I'm good. All right. Let's move it on. All right. Let's talk about this shit. Because I want to say this. I did like the match. So let's be clear here. I did like the match. Rollins versus Finn Balor. But I really wanted Finn to win. like, and I knew it wasn't gonna happen. Yet I was still kind of upset that Rollins won. Like, this just the way they booked this is just like, it would have been fine had they built Finn up, I think, a little bit more in this feud. But like, what has Finn been presented as over the past like few months on WWE TV? He's been presented as a bit of a loser. He hasn't been presented as the big threat that he was back in 2016 when he beat Rollins for the Universal belt. So I'm supposed to sit here and believe that he's going to win? No. Like, the second he hit, and like Finn had like one insane like series in this match where they tried to get people to think that he was going to win. And he does it. He hits the switchblade. He hits the sling blade. He hits the coup de grace. And 1, 2, kick out. And the entire time, as soon as he went up to do the coup de grace, I'm like, oh, Ron's going to kick out at like 2.999, and, everyone's going to be shocked. And then Rollins is going to, like, curb stomp him into oblivion, which is exactly what happened on the Money in the Bank briefcase because Damian Priest tried to get involved. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Wasn't a fan. Yeah. No, like again, I love both these guys, but the way they built up Finn, or the way they, I guess, haven't built up Finn, it wasn't conductive, I think, to being taken as a legitimate threat. We got No in the chat saying, after this, the Judgment Day is a joke. I'm sorry, Finn is a loser ever since the 2016 Universal Championship win. Like, tell me when I'm telling lies, and tell me when he's telling lies. It's true. They haven't found a way to book him well outside of when he went back to NXT. When Finn went back to NXT in 2019, he did like his character, the Finn Balor character, was rehabilitated, but even then, when he comes back to the main roster and he does his Judgment Day crap, I'm just like, man, it don't hit the same. It doesn't hit the same. They had a chance here. To make him look like less of a loser, to make him look like a champion, to give him his run. Like, and this might just be the fan in me, which is good because I'm a wrestling fan. I'm allowed to have opinions that are just blindly done by my fandom. But I think, like I just want to see him have that run. As a fan, I just want to see Finn Balor have the run that he was robbed of in 2016 because of the injury. And if that makes me, if that makes me like less of an analyst or less of a YouTuber, I don't care. I'm a fan first. That's the whole reason I started this channel. So, to me, I thought that WWE missed an opportunity here. I think there was more of an upside to having Finn Balor beat Seth Rollins and tell that story of how, 7 years later now? Yeah, 7 years later, Finn Balor at SummerSlam for major world titles still beats Rollins. Like, that should be a story that we should be telling. Instead, it's the story of it's still a fine story. It's the story of Finn Balor, like, leaving the Judgment Day or the Judgment Day imploding on itself, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, no matter which direction they go in, Finn Balor is worse off. And it sucks. Because this is a dude who, when he was in New Japan, everyone thought the world of. And when he made that jump into WWE, he was like one of the few guys that made that jump that he was like, oh, he's gonna hit the ground running in NXT. And when he got to the main roster, I've still to this day have not seen WWE replicate what they had with Finn Balor when he was drafted to Raw from NXT. It's almost like that like few weeks, that month or two, however long it was, just kind of like is in a parallel universe, because they put him over as strongly as you could, and like literally within weeks. First match beats Roman Reigns. Second match beats everyone else. Gets a shot at the Universal Champion. Becomes the inaugural Universal Champion in a good match with Rollins, and then he's vacated of it, and then he never got back to it. Never. And it like one of the biggest what if stories in pro wrestling is what happened. What if Balor didn't get injured? He wouldn't have been world champion, or he wouldn't have been Universal Champion for 18 months. That wouldn't have happened. But the way they were building him up, I think he could have been like a massive, massive, massive star. Because I still to this day have not seen WWE, especially on like an shorter indie guy, like smaller, viewed as a smaller indie guy. I still haven't seen them do the same thing. The way they built Finn Balor up in 2016 was way different. It was just insane. Like, watching it then, I was like shocked. Looking back at it now, I'm still shocked that it was able to happen, and it's just sad. It really is just sad, the fact that we never were able to get back to it. So that's my Finn Balor rant. It be like that. Anyway, let's talk about this. Let's talk about some fun stuff here. Triple threat for the WWE Women's World Championship. Charlotte Flair versus Bianca Belair versus the champion, Asuka. These three, some of the best, so three of the best the WWE has to offer. In the case of Bianca Belair, you could probably say she's one of, if not the best in the world. Really fun match, good match. Ending sequence saw Bianca Belair get put into the figure 8, in which Charlotte Flair then gets misted in the face, who it forced to break the hold by Asuka. Asuka then immediately gets rolled up by Bianca Belair, who wins and becomes the new Women's World Champion. My God. Your boy was shocked. I was like, holy shit, they did something. WWE did something with the women's title belts. That's cool. And I thought Bianca winning, wasn't something that it wasn't something I was expecting. And I thought it was cool because I'm like, the way she was put over in the match was like, she had an injury, she was selling her knee. Like, at one point, Bianca Belair was literally crying on the floor, and I was like, you are so good at your job. Your job is to make me believe that you are hurt, and you are making me believe that you are hurt, Bianca. So, she wins the match. I'm excited. I'm happy. And then immediately, I hear Io Sky's music play, and I lose. At this point, I'm with my parents, and I'm watching this on my phone, and I'm just losing my shiznit. And I'm losing it. I'm like, Io's gonna do it. She comes down with Bayley. Bayley beats the crap out of Charlotte, beats the crap out of Asuka on the way to the ring, allowing Io an easy shot at Bianca Belair, who just won the belt, who's selling this injured knee, and Io takes the briefcase, just takes out Bianca's knees. I was like, oh, that's mean. And Io hits her moonsault. 1, 2, 3, and new. Look at that. This is fucking beautiful. And new. Women's World Champion Io Sky. Mike G's, we are up. We are up. This is amazing. This was my favorite moment of the night. I was happy. And you know what made this even more awesome? The fact that afterwards, when Bayley is celebrating, when Io's celebrating, Dakota Kai got to come out and celebrate too. I was really happy. They were really happy. This is awesome. This was the right decision. Eventually, Io needed to win this belt, and I'm so excited to see what she's going to be able to do with it. We got McNasty in the chat. What's up, McNasty? Saying Bianca turning heel next week. She might join Lashley's faction soon. That was something that I immediately thought of because of the Montez Ford thing. I was like, because I always thought eventually Montez and Bianca Belair were going to do something together on screen. I'm not sure though. Would the end result be that Damage Control turns face, and then Bianca kind of in order to go after them turns heel? I don't know. I'm not sure, but I don't know. You could make that work because Io's so over and Bayley's Bayley. She's always gonna be over. I am waiting though. I am waiting. I will say this. I'm definitely waiting for the day that Bayley returns to her I'm a hugger gimmick. It's gotta happen one day. It's gotta happen one day. Where she just comes out and the wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube men just come out too. I know it's if it did, it would be a one-off, and I don't want that to be her gimmick. Well, maybe I want it, but I know the reason why it shouldn't be her gimmick for an entire run. But I really am nostalgic for it, and I miss it. And I thought it was a really nice gimmick. Bring back the wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man. Yo, by the way, again, if you guys have not heard, I'm literally in a hotel lobby right now. It's why I'm speaking a little bit lower, or a little bit softer, I should say, than I usually do. It's why it's so dark, and I really apologize for that. Internet was crap in my room, so I had to come down here where it was less crap. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. I'm trying to answer questions as we go through this as well. Hit that like button if you haven't already done so, though. Subscribe and hit that notification bell. We will be back in a better location, I promise you, by the next stream. Yeah, I'm doing this for y'all because I'm a super mark. Actually, I need to get a shirt that says that, super mark. But great to see Io Sky winning. Can't wait to see what she does next. And now, for the WWE Undisputed Universal Heavyweight Championship, the Tribal Combat, Roman versus Jay. Let me actually get to know Lara's chat first. Finn should go back to New Japan because he's a joke in WWE. To quote, to quote, oh God, what's his name? Bobby Fish. That's who I'm quoting right now. Bobby Fish. To quote Bobby Fish, folks, where's the lie? Like, I wouldn't say like it's a complete joke, but it's bad. Like he's just another guy. It's like Nakamura, right? Like I'm all for Nakamura. I'm all for Finn. I'm all for all these guys who I really love watching. I'm all for them getting paid. And at the end of the day, that's what you're here to do. And, you know, like I'm not going to knock someone for getting paid more money to wrestle less dates or you know, like secure the bag in an industry that where you only have a certain amount of time, right? That being said, I just hate the way that they're both presented, and I would love to see them go back to New Japan. I would love to see them go to AEW because I feel like they'd be presented at least a little bit better. In Finn's case, I know damn well he'd be presented way better than he is right now. But it is what it is, and I'm not gonna knock them for staying. I will knock WWE for the way they're presenting them, though, and so it is what it is. All right. Here we go. We got Jermaine in the chat. I'm already on it saying, OMG, this match was all over the place. Why did they have Asuka get pinned in a three-way? That's a great point. I didn't even think about that. Why did they have the champion get pinned in a three-way? You could have had another three-way next week or next month. Oh, Jermaine, you just broke this match. I had so much fun. I was loving this. I loved that match, and then you just broke it, my G. You just broke it for me. I'm like, oh, they definitely could have made this better. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because if you had Charlotte Flair be the one to get pinned, she can get rolled up, right? You had Charlotte Flair, the one who got rolled up. Like, you could have had like Asuka have a legitimate gripe, Bianca have a legitimate gripe against Io, and then have a three-way. Oh my God, you just broke this match. And I know exactly why, though. But I know exactly. You know the reason why they didn't do that, though? You know the reason why Charlotte didn't get pinned? Well, number one, she's Charlotte. But the real reason is because somebody thought of that missed spot into the figure eight. Like when Charlotte had the figure eight and then Asuka doing the mist. Someone thought of that spot. That is why. That is it. And they were like, we need to get that spot in because that's a cool spot. Which I agree, but like I don't agree to that extent. But damn. Well, that's a damn shame. That's a damn shame. Now, you know... Oof. Anyway. Oh. That is not what we wanted. Here we go. This is what we wanted. Let's talk about this. The main event. Jey Uso versus Roman Reigns. WWE Universal Championship on the line. Yo... Tell me why, like, all these bloodline matches... Like, tell me why. All these bloodline matches, why are they all, like, just awesome spectacle? Because I wasn't necessarily a big fan of, like... Actually, no, I was a big fan of most of what happened in this match. I wasn't a big fan of, like, the technical wrestling, because there really wasn't a lot of technical wrestling. What I was a fan of, though, was the dissension, because there was a lot of dissension here, and a lot of storytelling. And while I liked it, there were certain things that I didn't like. I'm sorry. I'm trying to compose my thoughts as I'm doing this because it literally went live after this pay-per-view ended. So, okay, let's talk about it. Match overall, I thought was a lot of fun because you saw Jey Uso after 3 years of taking it from Roman Reigns, after 3 years of getting bullied, abused, victimized, all that stuff by Roman Reigns. He finally fought back. And it was cool. It was really cool to see. There was a spot where, like, he literally... I'm watching it right now on my screen. There was a spot where he literally, like, took something and, like, started beating him. like started whipping him, and I was like, that's a fun spot because it looked cathartic for Jay, and that's the story they're trying to tell. They're trying to tell the story of like he's finally fighting back after like all this shit that he's taken. And throughout the match, one of the running themes was dissension, like I mentioned, and it was with Solo because at one point Solo Sikoa goes for, or Solo and Roman go for the spike spear combo. As Solo gets ready to do the spike, and as Roman is running the ropes for the spear, Jay goes out of the way, pushes Solo in front of the spear, and Roman accidentally spears Solo Sikoa, which pissed Solo off the entire match because he's staring a hole through Roman the rest of the way because he's like, how are you going to do that to me, man? I'm the guy. I stuck around. Jimmy's gone. Jay's gone. I stuck around. Sammy's gone. It's me. How are you going to do that to me? And the entire match, even while he's still doing Roman's bidding, Solo's looking at Roman like, how dare you? How dare you spear me? And eventually they do the spot. It was similar to the spot at MSG that actually took Jimmy out, where Jey Uso had Solo Sikoa out on the table, and he does a Samoan splash through the table, takes him out for the rest of the match, and leaves Roman vulnerable because now it's one-on-one Roman Jay. And Jey Uso had Roman beat. Had him beat. Uso splash, all done. 1, 2, he gets yanked out of the ring by a masked, hooded figure who just so happened to be none other than Jimmy Uso. Look at Jay's expression the second he sees Jimmy. He's like, why, Jimmy, why? And Jimmy Uso has this like very angry expression on his face, which like, you're just like, why did this happen, right? It's like when one of your favorite shows takes a turn that like really makes no logical sense, but you're just like, oh, I gotta find out why. Which brings me to my problem with this. As much as I love the spectacle, and by the way, Roman won, lol. As much as I love the spectacle, as much as I love the like cool avenues and storytelling that this opens up, my worry is that they're not going to have a good explanation, and it's just going to be Jimmy thinks that Roman should be the tribal chief, and it won't hit right. And the one thing that I can say is about like good storylines, sometimes it's better to end them at their hottest rather than keep them around too long. The NWO is obviously the biggest example of that going wrong, and I think the biggest example of that going right was like the Shield, right? They ended the Shield the night after they beat Evolution in an elimination match, which was like the peak. It was never going to get better than that. The next night they broke it up. And that's why in our minds the Shield is like one of the best stables of all time. If you want to sustain this storyline as the best of all time, you have to have a good payoff. And it has to be like within like the main characters that are involved. As much as I love Cody, he's not a main character in the story. He's just not. He's a main character in his story, but not in the bloodline. And the thing is, if you keep elongating this, if you keep prolonging this, if you keep adding these random twists and turns, which are really cool when they happen, but then I'm watching SmackDown and I'm just like, okay, what's next? How are you going to explain this? Again, it's not. It hasn't happened yet. My worry is that this is the start of it, and that WWE just wants to keep this going for as long as they can, because at the end of the day, they're not necessarily driven by telling, or their business isn't necessarily driven by just telling good stories. Their business is driven by creating content, creating as much content as possible, and optimizing the amount of people that watch it. And I think it's understandable for WWE to look at this as a business and be like, we could prolong this and it could be a bit of a shittier storyline, right, for an extra 6 months than it probably should go. But we could prolong it and get really good ratings and lock up our TV rights like in a way better position than we thought we could. And that could possibly play into this. Regardless, I'm going to be watching SmackDown because I definitely want to see why Jimmy did this. The big thing is, like, why Jimmy, why? I still don't know, but it's interesting. It's interesting because, like, Jimmy Uso was always, like, he was almost like the weaker one. He was always portrayed as, like, the weaker one of the two. Because the main character, the main hero of this story, like I said before, has always been Jay. Jimmy's been, like, a character in the family, but he's almost as if, like if this was like Game of Thrones, which is like a reference that I throw in like every day. But if this was Game of Thrones, you know, Jimmy he wouldn't be one of the Starks, or if he was a Stark, he'd be like Bran, which is like he's important sometimes, but like, you know, he's also just kind of like lost in the forest sometimes. So yeah, I mean, like he's not Jon. Like Jey Uso is Jon Snow. So I don't know. I just my biggest issue is I don't know how you make it make sense. No Laura in the chat saying all I can hear is JR. Why Jimmy? Why are you this? That is, by the way, great shout there. That is like my favorite call in the history of pro wrestling. Just JR after Triple H turns on Austin, it's like, it was me, and JR just goes, why? Right here in Texas. It was amazing. Like, I love how JR was like, he kept on saying right here in Texas, like every other like thing. It's like, tell me why, Triple H, why would you do this right here in Texas? It was amazing. At least in my mind, that's what he said. We got Jermaine in the chat saying, come on, this makes no sense. Jimmy turned on Roman before Jay did. In your opinion, how would you make sense of this? I don't know. How would I make sense of I mean, this isn't a decision that I would make. Like, I'll be totally honest with you, so it's like hard for me to make sense of it. The best I can give you is that the best I can give you. Okay, see, this is me thinking in real time. Jimmy then just thinks Roman is better. He's just better to be the tribal chief. More dominant. That's it. If it's something really stupid, like when you know they were beating down on me, Jay, where were you? Why were you just looking on? If it's that, I'm gonna be so mad. That's such a dumb story to tell. Because I'm like, bro, Roman and Stolo literally sent you to the hospital. How are you mad at Jay? But I feel like that's also a direction they could go in. Yeah, I don't know. The best way you make sense of this in my eyes is that beatdown beat some sense into Jimmy. That's it. The beatdown beat some sense into him, and he realized that it's Roman. It's Roman. And it's Roman for a reason, because that dude will beat the crap out of you. That's it. McNasty, I did it for Roman. If they do that, I will say, like, it might not be great storytelling, but I'm going to laugh. You boys got to enjoy that if you do that. McNasty says, like I said, booking of this was not logical. It wasn't. But if Jimmy Uso with a straight face comes out and says, I did it for Roman, I'm going to laugh my ass off. It's going to be like one of the funniest things. I did it for the bloodline. I did it for Roman. I did it for the bloodline. It would actually be hilarious. Yeah. It's hard. It's really hard to make sense of. Because like, I understand Jay not winning, right, from a business standpoint. If you want Cody, if you've already made the decision that Cody is going to be the guy to beat Roman, I understand, and that is the decision that you have made. At the same time, you definitely could have gone in a way better direction than you did. Because Jimmy, like, why? Like, you know, like I'm still like, it's not even like, oh, like, part of me is like, oh, I need to know like why this is, but I'm mostly like, it's not like, you know, oh, this is like, I'm now more invested and I'm gonna tune in. It's more like, I need to see how they try to make sense of this, because right now I'm just like, heh. You know, I'm confused more than anything. No, Lara, I didn't do it for the Universal title or the Bloodline. I did it for the family. I did it for the people. We got Daniel in the chat saying Roman will be champion for 10 years. It's confirmed. Oh, that's the other thing, right? That's the other thing. Roman wins LOL is the new, like, John Cena, like, Super Cena thing, right? Because as a great, like, don't get me wrong, this is great. Like Roman being the champion, like, he feels like a champion when he comes out. He feels like the biggest thing. It is getting tiresome, though. And I know that, like, people are going to poo-poo that take a little bit, and understandably, because I do think that sometimes as fans we're a little, like, too quick on the trigger. But 3 years, let's adjust that for inflation, right? Because our attention spans are less than they were, like, 20, 30 years ago. 3 years in the current sense, and it being as over as it is a massive accomplishment. I don't think we need 4 years of this. And I think odds are this is probably going to end one way or another or this is going to end at WrestleMania 40, whether it's Cody, whether it's The Rock, whether whoever. Someone's going to end this. I would hope it's Cody and not The Rock, but, you know, again, WWE's a content creator. What's going to get people to tune in the next night? It's going to be The Rock winning the belt. But I really hope, and I hope that someone in WWE has the wherewithal to be like, let's maybe look at other ways we could do this. Because Cody can win. Cody can win. It can still be that moment. Because Cody's story isn't inherently built on beating Roman. Well, entirely. It is built on winning the WWE Championship, which Roman holds. Jay and Jimmy and even Sami Zayn to an extent, right? They were so integral and main characters in that Bloodline storyline. It's only fitting if one of them is the one to take Roman down. Again, it's not a sexy take. Cody fans are gonna be mad, and I get that. And again, it's not like, you know, there's multiple ways you could end this. I just think that you gotta at least think about it, and I hope they've at least thought about it. We got Jermaine in the chat saying, where does Roman go from here? He's fought everybody, maybe Lashley again. Like, that's the thing I keep going back to with Roman. I'm like, okay, who's he gonna fight? Like, Lashley again? Like, really? We're gonna run that back, and Lashley's gonna get beat down, and you're gonna make, you know, this new version of the Hurt Business or whatever they're called. Like, you're gonna make them look like trash because they get beat down by the Bloodline. Like, what are you gonna do? Lashley's on SmackDown, but I'd like him to get the title. I mean, yeah, why not? Nolara in the chat says, look, it was awesome these 3 years, but there comes a time where it's time for Roman to step down. So it's a time-honored tradition. Could you imagine Triple H, like, they do the storyline where Triple H screws him out of the belt, and he just goes like, I didn't screw Roman. Roman screwed Roman. I have no sympathy for Roman Reigns. Yeah, I mean, fam, I don't know. I hope they didn't jump the shark with this. I really hope they didn't, because this is, to me, the greatest story that WWE has ever told. And this is, like, one of the wildest, like, streams I've ever done. Like, again, by the way, guys, if you're just joining us, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell. If you have a question, comment, concern, leave it in the chat. If you want to guarantee your question or statement gets read out on the air, leave a super chat. How would you book Rock versus Roman? If I had to, I would probably go the route of booking it for either one of the big. It depends on how we book it, right? If it's for WrestleMania and it has to be at WrestleMania, it would be night one of WrestleMania where Rock versus Roman for the belt, and I would have Roman beat Rock. Preferably, I do it not for the belt. Preferably, I do it for just the title of the Tribal Chief, and which I think would be way better in my opinion, because then you have more scenarios where Rock could realistically win. But what I would do I would have it. Let's go with that one. I would have it for the title of Tribal Chief, Rock Roman, and I would have Roman beat The Rock with everyone working against him. Solidify it. Because, I mean, like, they literally did it tonight. But I would have everyone working against Roman and him still winning. And then the next night, if you want to do it at WrestleMania, you could do it next night. Cody beats him one-on-one. No in the chat saying this is probably the last time we'll ever, and I mean ever see a 1,003-year reign in WWE. Yeah. I don't think we're ever going to see one like this, man. Like, because even before this, like, the longest one was CM Punk's reign, right? It was that Punk reign of over a year from, yeah, it was like a year and a half almost. Yeah, and like even that was like insane for the modern day. So, yeah, I don't think you're ever going to see that happen again. Overall, though, fun show, fun time. Like, if I had to give this a rating, I'd probably give it like a 6.57. I'd give it a 7. Let's round it up to a 7. I'll give it a 7. I'm a very optimistic guy. There were certain things that I didn't like. I didn't even talk about the Battle Royal for a reason. I'm sorry. LA Knight won, which was the right decision. It was such a waste of time. It was such a waste of time. You should have just had him beat Austin Theory for the U.S. title. Like, if you like, I understand getting people in the card. I understand getting people a paycheck. I'm all for it. You have a kickoff show for a reason. LA Knight should have wrestled Austin Theory for the belt and beaten him. There's no reason why you couldn't have that happen, especially considering Rey Mysterio, who was the original challenger, got injured. I'm just saying, could you imagine how much bigger the pop would be for LA Knight had he won the U.S. belt? I'm at this point, I'm kind of convinced that, like, they're, like, the reports of there being, like, you know, people who are lukewarm on him in higher power, like, I'm convinced that those are true, because I'm just like, how do you not just do it? Especially considering how Austin is like just Austin Theory is just like floundering. He's legitimately floundering right now. Jermaine in the chat, what is Roman's next 4 title defenses? Oh my God, dude, he might not even have 4 title defenses before Mania at this rate, because his last title defense, his last singles match. Get this, fam. Roman's last singles match was, guess what? Against Cody at Mania. That was in April. It is August. It's been a minute. Like, it's literally, because that was like first week of April. It's first week of August now. My G. Dude hasn't wrestled a singles match in 4 months. He's not going to have 4 singles matches until Mania next year. Like, that ain't happening. He's going to wrestle once a quarter in singles matches. He defends that title once a quarter. Like, if you ask me who's next, I mean, God, I don't even think they've mapped that out yet. Like, maybe a 3-way, maybe a triple threat, Jimmy, Jay, and Roman. I don't even know. like, because you just beat Gunther. Like, that's the only guy I could see it maybe being was Gunther. That like it's the only guy who's like built up big enough right now. Other than that, I got nothing. Cause ain't nobody being built up to the level. Ain't nobody being built up like that, man. Like, it's just, and I just don't know. Given like how like the little amount that Roman wrestles, I just don't know where they're going to be in like 3 months. McNasty says, I don't like long title reigns. This isn't the 60s, 70s, or 80s. Pro wrestling was way different. It's way more talent, egos to satisfy. Yeah. I will say, I think Roman's has been good. It's been great. I think it was the right decision to have his title reign like be very, very long and get to 1,000 days, because now you can like say he's done it, and you could argue he's the greatest title reign of all time, but at some point, like, this has to wrap up. And the fact that we're not, like, seeing even the signs of it, you're just kind of like, what is the end result? There's only one man left, Goldberg. Or the ring, no, we don't need give me the ring general. We don't need the first one. We do not need the first one. Although I don't want, oh God, it's going to be, it really might be Gunther and then Cody at Mania. Like, that really might be it. Yeah. We got Jermaine saying, I was expecting Umaga's son, not Jimmy. Yeah, I was expecting that too. That I actually did think it was gonna be, it was gonna be him for a second, or I actually thought it was going to be like, yeah, man, they really got me scratching my head tonight. Anyway, we've been live for a minute. Yeah, we've been live for how long have we been live here? Probably like an hour. Yeah, we've been live for about an hour. So, guys, we're wrapping this up. Heading down the home stretch. If you got a question, leave a chat. If you want to help out the channel, leave a super chat. Yeah, Zilla Fatu. God, I don't know, man. I don't know. Isn't he signed? He's like signed, right? Zilla Fatu signed with like MLW or something. Oh no, he just made his debut recently. This man, like, they're just gonna the entire bloodline. The entire bloodline is just gonna. You know what would be hilarious? You actually know what would be hilarious? If when they run back the Cody stuff, if they run back the Cody stuff and they bring back Manu, who, by the way, in case you guys don't remember who Manu is, he was with Cody in the bloodline, or sorry, not in the bloodline, in Legacy when Cody first came up to the main roster. My G, if they bring back Manu, let me tell you something. Your boy here is gonna have all the nostalgia from 2008, and I'm gonna be lit. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. I'm gonna laugh my ass off when Manu comes out and like does a face to face with Cody. Yeah, Legacy. Yep. Guys, this has been fun. McNasty. I can't believe I'm literally, there are literally people all around me right now. I'm a super mark right now, and I don't really care because I love you guys and I do this for you. McNasty, Jermaine, everyone who's joined in the chat. Huge thank y'all. Thank you for guys' support. Thank you for you guys is just watching this. Really appreciate it. If you guys haven't already done so, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever new videos are released. Got a big announcement coming up soon about some potential new content and a new channel. So stay tuned for that. Be sure to check out OT Graps live Tuesdays. We might do, probably going to do a Wrestling with Omer tomorrow at some point. A lot of fun stuff happening. Appreciate all of y'all. Salute to y'all. Until next time, be happy, be healthy, and as always, keep it real.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yeah, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. You got a mind, but even that could change. You could flip the gray matter like some batter in your brain. That's why I say, fake it till you make it A. And if you play that game, then you just might make a change. Rearrange all the bad to okay. Take the worst thoughts saying, turn them to a game. Take the